There is an old saying, wealth has its own unique ways of growing, and there's some truth to this statement. You might be surprised to learn that three of the most influential figures in history, Albert Einstein, Benjamin Franklin, and Warren Buffett, all have one thing in common. They were all big believers in the power of compound interest. In this video, I'll show you why this concept is so important and how you can use it to your advantage to lead a financially independent life. Today, we're going to talk about a concept that even the great Albert Einstein once called the eighth wonder of the world: compound interest. Whether or not he actually said it, the power of compound interest is undeniable, and we're going to show you why. Before we start, let me ask you a question. If you were given a choice between $10 million and a magical $1 coin that doubles every day for 30 days, which option would you choose? Most people would go for the $10 million. But what if we told you that the magical coin would turn into over $1 billion? That's right, the power of compound interest can turn a small amount of money into something extraordinary over time. Another wonderful tale is back in time, when a chess game was presented to a great king by its inventor. The king was so impressed and offered the inventor any reward that he wanted. The inventor made a simple request that a single grain of rice be placed on the first square of the chessboard, then 2 grains on the second square, 4 grains on the third, and so on, doubling each time. The king, baffled by such a small price for a wonderful game, immediately agreed and ordered the treasurer to pay the agreed-upon sum. A week later, the inventor went before the king and asked why he'd not received his reward. The king, outraged that the treasurer had disobeyed him, immediately summoned the treasurer and demanded to know why the inventor had not been paid. The treasurer explained that the sum could not be paid. By the time you got even halfway through the chessboard, the amount of grain required was more than the entire kingdom possessed. For the most part, this fable is used as a lesson in the power of compounding growth. From 1 grain of rice on the first square of the chessboard, the amount increases to the point that by the time you get to square 64, there are over 18 quintillion grains of rice on the board. So sit back, relax, and let's explore the wonders of compound interest together. Hello everyone, you are watching the Curious Businessman channel, and in this video we'll go through the power of compound interest and how it can change your life. But before we begin, we would like you guys to subscribe to the channel, like this video, and hit the notification bell icon so you do not miss out on amazing and entertaining content. What makes compound interest the eighth wonder of the world? Do you know what makes an avalanche so powerful? It starts from a tiny snowflake and slowly grows into a massive force of nature. In fact, every great force in our world begins with something small, and the same goes for building wealth. Just like rolling a snowball down a hill, building wealth takes effort in the beginning. You have to start with a small amount and continually add to it, putting in intense effort to make it grow. But once you've built that initial wealth snowball, it naturally attracts more wealth, and the power of compounding interest starts working in your favor. Over time, compound interest can lead to massive growth in your wealth, especially if you start early and give your money time to compound. That's why experts recommend starting to save and invest for retirement as early as possible, even if you can only afford to put a little bit away each month. So, just like a small snowflake can become a massive avalanche, your initial wealth can grow into something significant with the power of compounding interest. Allegedly, Albert Einstein once called compound interest the most powerful force in the universe. But don't just take Einstein's word for it. Billionaire investor Warren Buffett has also attributed much of his success to compound interest. In fact, he once said, "My wealth has come from a combination of living in America, some lucky genes, and compound interest." Benjamin Franklin also had some wise words to say about the topic, describing compound interest as money makes money, and the money that money makes money. What is compound interest? So, what exactly is interest? Put simply, interest is the cost of borrowing money. If you're the one lending out the money, you receive interest as compensation. And if you deposit money in a savings account or CD, you're essentially lending money to the bank and they pay you interest in return. But the real magic happens when that interest starts to compound. Instead of just earning interest on your initial deposit, you're also earning interest on all the interest that's accumulated over time. This means your money grows faster and faster without you even having to lift a finger. Imagine you deposit $1,000 in a savings account that offers an interest rate of 5% per year. Sounds good, right? Now let's see what happens after 1 year with simple and compound interest. With simple interest, the interest earned is only calculated on the initial principal amount. So after 1 year, you'd earn $50, 5% of $1,000. But with compound interest, the interest earned is calculated on both the initial principal amount and any interest earned in previous periods. That means after 1 year, the interest earned would be $52.50, 5% of $1,000, plus 5% of $50. So why does compound interest earn more? It's because it takes into account the interest earned in previous periods. Over time, this difference can become significant and really add up. In a nutshell, while simple interest is calculated solely on the principal amount, compound interest takes into account the previous interest earned as well. That's why it's considered one of the most powerful financial tools out there. Big oops in real life. On the 5th day of November in 1626, Native Americans sold the island of Manhattan to the Dutch for the equivalent of $24. The absurdity of the story has caused many historians to question the story. Some try to figure out the inflation. But let's keep it simple and take a look at basic economics. Let's assume that the Native Americans managed to get the average return of a modest 7% per annum over the years. Let's take a look at the results. 1626, $24. 1726, $24,000. 1826, $24 million. 1926, $24 billion. 2026, $24 trillion. In 2014, experts valued the island of Manhattan at $1.74 trillion. To grow the amount from the sale to this number, the natives need not be as smart as the one in the fictitious scenario above, which assumes a 7.2% annual return. With $24 of seed money, a 6.57% return is all that would be required to grow that investment to $1.74 trillion by 2019. With this in mind, it seems that the 1626 sale was not such a bad one. Rather, the money was placed in the hands of someone who did not understand the power of compounding. Thanks for watching this video on the power of compound interest. Remember, understanding how compound interest works can help you build your wealth and achieve your financial goals. If you found this video helpful, please give it a thumbs up and consider subscribing to our channel for more finance-related content. And as always, if you have any questions or comments, feel free to leave them down below. Thanks again for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.